Hello and welcome. My name is Saluun, and this was meant to be the first episode of my Zero to Hero series in Legion Remix as a Demon Hunter tank, a spec or class I've never really played before. But Mythic Plus in Remix is very different and how the gearing works, but we will get to that soon. First, I had quite a journey ahead of me, especially considering I couldn't even play properly for a couple of hours because every time I wanted to hand in a quest, I got disconnected and kept getting the character already exists bug. Fun times. After a while, things started to work again, and as a fresh edgelord, it was time to choose a follower. Well, of course I'm going to choose the Giga Chad Kane Sunfury, it's not even a question. Who wants this Virgin Night Elf Altarist? Come on now. Then I got my artifact weapon and entered the sweatiest place in Azeroth, the Demon Hunter class order hole.
Well, my stomach aches and my palms just got sweaty. Must be a high school.
Where during the pole, the many voices of Blizzard leads me down into the basement. And then eventually I was allowed to pick my first zone, which was High Mountain, because it's nice and cozy. I found it lovely that the mission table quests were auto-completed. I wish it would work that way outside Remix as well, you know, once they are not current content anymore. Next, I wanted to do my Infinite Research quest as they reward increased experience gain. This quest wanted me to do my first normal dungeon. Unfortunately, on Remix, pretty much everyone is a tank because of the heroic world tier, for example, is easier that way. But obviously, this being day 1, I didn't know, so I was in a bit of a queue for a time. In the meantime, I made my way to High Mountain, but I was a bit lost, as Thunder Totem was a literal ghost town. No NPCs on site. I was wandering around being really confused until finally my dungeon queue popped. And... nothing happens. I tried to enter it multiple times. This is where it hit me. I've been disconnected for several minutes, or at least been in this weird limbo of disconnection where I can still mount up, use abilities and chat, but I can't interact with anything else. So I apologized to the party and left so they could start with another tank. What a fun experience, eh? Later on, I did get into a normal dungeon finally, where the impatient little DPS pulled the stuff that I wanted to skip. That's the tank life. If you don't rush and pull half the dungeon, someone else will do it. And if they die, you get to blame for it.
I'm gonna myself! Wow. I'm going to myself and it's your fault!
These dungeons, both on normal and heroic, are time-walking levels of easy, but you know, I'm sorry for wanting to skip a couple mobs. After the dungeon, while I was questing in High Mountain, I thought I disconnected again when I saw this. Yeah, I don't know man anymore. I squeezed myself into a raid where I got almost kicked from because I kept having these weird disconnect bugs, but it doesn't look like I'm gone because the chat and my mount works, but I couldn't zone into the raid, so I missed the first boss. To be fair, my presence wouldn't have made much of a difference anyway, as I was the lowest level person, so my damage was also the lowest.
It's too small.
It was worth doing this though. Almost every boss was an entire experience bar. Later, I decided to give Heroic Volunteer a try. I was level 28 and as a tank, well, it wasn't very challenging in my opinion. Here I'm killing a rare, but it took a really long time on my own, so I figured this is not really worth the time right now. If you enjoyed this video so far, please hit that subscribe button so you can enjoy more of my videos. Did you know there are loads of remixed transmog mounts and pets that will go away after the event? Well, if you don't, check out this video after this one. It will be linked at the end. Damn, I forgot how rough Talisra looked when we first met her.
I had a problem with drugs that were legal. I got hooked on caffeine pills so I could stay up and study. Not only did I hurt myself, I hurt my friends. She's doing much better nowadays. It's kinda sad that we don't really get to see her much though. Like, she got married to Lord Suramar apparently, but we never saw a wedding in game. I want to see character development inside the game, not in books and short stories. Scaling is still messy as always. Once I reached level 70, suddenly I became piss weak, and it took ages to kill things. By the way, as much as I love the story of Suramar, I did not miss collecting ancient mana, man. I remember dying so much back in the day in this city and grappling onto rooftops and stuff. They are fun memories now, but back then I was quite annoyed by it. Also, someone from Blizzard needs to explain to me, why couldn't we get this guy's armor as an ensemble? It looks so cool, and it's well themed. Would have been perfect for Legion Remix. Come on, Blizzard, please. Have you ever seen these plushies? From a certain angle, they look like they are having a good time. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty close to level up to max, and for that I needed to complete one of these infinite research quests, and I was waiting for a normal dungeon queue to pop when... Yeah, I had to restart my game, and unfortunately I forgot to press record. So me hitting level 80 is rather anticlimactic, because I didn't get footage of it exactly. So, I thought to myself, what now? I'm level 80, I want to do Mythic Plus, what do I need for that? And I kinda couldn't really find an answer to that very easily. I swapped to Heroic World Tier and started doing world quests and stuff for gear, and eventually I stepped into my first Mythic Plus group for a +2 Darkheart Thicket. This is what my gear looked like before entering. Don't worry guys, those who already know how to gear I bet are furiously typing in the comments on why this is wrong, but we'll get there, just hang on. So in Remix, basically there is an insane healer shortage, because well, let's face it, who wants to play healer in Remix? Nobody. So we spent quite some time with this group waiting for a miracle to happen, but instead eventually our druids just swapped to healer, so we can at least start the bloody dungeon finally. I figured maybe in a key I shouldn't go apeshit on the pose, but the first pose seemed pretty easy, so I thought in my infinite wisdom to chain the big bear into the next room while not using any defensives as a tank because I thought I'll be immortal, but I got my ass handed to me. So I realized, maybe this won't be a face roll after all. We also have an affix from Eternus where he spawns in occasionally and gives us an orb to absorb, which gives everyone in the party a 30-second buff where our cooldowns recover faster, so that's nice. Nothing particularly interesting happened in the rest of the dungeon. We only had another death at the very end of the key. I did another dungeon, but honestly I didn't have much sense of a progression, and I'll tell you now why. So I found a Reddit post by Clanchat, who was apparently EU first in completing a +30 Mythic Plus key. I'll link his Reddit post in the description. But the very TLDR is that Mythic Plus is here mainly for just pushing your key for fun.
and for the sake of the achievement to complete a plus 30 or higher for the Sargerai set that Cranchat here is wearing, it's not really worth doing them in low gear, and they are not really good for gearing either. So I concluded that this isn't really worth doing a Zero to Hero series for, as obtaining the gear will come from rather not very interesting content such as questing, dailies, zerging through raids. I think if we get to a point where I'm geared enough to potentially clear a level 30 key, I will record those runs and make a video about it once I achieve that, but until then, this is it. Also, the groups are not very traditional either. If you look in the group finder, healers are in insane demand, so a lot of groups are just sitting there waiting for ages for a healer to pop in. Or the other alternative seems to be 5-man tank groups, as that seems to be the meta here. Because of that and the heroic wall tier, tanks are not in demand ever. You actually find tanks have to wait now in dungeon queues and won't get instant invites for raids either. Before I end this video, I want to show you guys my very pathetic attempt at soloing +2 Natharian's lair, because it was hilarious how I failed. The first pack went fine, took a little bit for them to die, but not too long. The first boss wasn't going fast either, but again, by the time I killed it, the timer was still looking very doable, okay? After the first boss, I got owned by this freaking basilisk because I didn't kick his stun. Then I foolishly decided to pull more, and then he stunned me again. So yeah, that was all she wrote. This was not a big issue timer-wise yet, but later on I got owned again because I have no clue what I'm doing with the Demon Hunter. But this still wasn't an issue. Can you guess what the problem was in the end? Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, I failed on the second boss so hard. This stupid minigame proved too much for my peanut brain, and every time I thought I had him for sure, turned out I didn't. Killing these totems took freaking forever one by one, so messing this up on multiple occasions cost me an insane amount of time. So yeah, I gave up. I suck, I know. Anyway, this has been my remix journey so far. I hope you guys are having as much of a blast as I am, and the bugs and disconnects didn't disrupt any of that too often. The poll for the retail series ended last week, and Enhancement Shaman won. But I don't know when will I start that yet. I want to focus on my remix progression for a week or two and make more videos on remix, but don't worry, it will start soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and let me know in the comments, what did you roll in remix and how are you enjoying it so far? I thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!